everyone. Glad you found your way back here.
Or maybe you're new, which is even better. Hello, welcome, please stay.
This is English Out Loud, the podcast where two people who talk too much for a living actually get paid to do it.
Well, sort of paid.
Sort of is doing a lot of work in that sentence.
It is. Anyway, I'm Annie.
And I'm Jake. And Annie, before we start, can I say something slightly controversial?
You're going to say it anyway, so yes, go ahead.
I think the nicest person in any room is almost always the most attractive person in any room.
Okay, define attractive.
I mean the person you most want to actually spend time with, not just look at.
Interesting, because most people when they hear attractive, they go straight to looks.
Right. And I'm not saying looks don't matter.
You'd better not be.
I'm just saying, if you had to choose between sitting next to someone beautiful who ignored you the entire time, or someone ordinary who made you feel genuinely good about yourself, which one do you remember at the end of the night?
The second one, obviously the second one.
Exactly. So that's what we're talking about today.
And look, I want to be honest. I walked in here this morning still a little tired, and Jake made me a coffee without asking. Just noticed I looked half asleep and put it on the desk.
That was nothing.
That is literally the topic of today's episode. So yes, it was something.
So today's question is this: does kindness actually make you more attractive?
And we're not asking in a soft, feel-good way. We're asking seriously. Does it change how people see you? Does it stay with people longer than beauty does? Does it affect how much someone wants to be around you?
Because I think a lot of people assume kindness is just a nice quality. Like, good to have, but nothing dramatic.
Right? People say things like, she's kind. And it sounds fine, but also somehow a little plain, like they couldn't think of anything more exciting to say.
Which is strange, because when you actually think about moments when someone was genuinely kind to you, those moments tend to stay.
They really do. And that is what we mean by leave a mark, which is one of our phrases today. If something leaves a mark, it has a lasting effect. It stays with you even after the moment is over.
For example, that small thing she did really left a mark on me. Or, the way he treated people left a mark on everyone who saw it.
And kindness, real kindness, leaves a mark in a way that a nice face often doesn't.
So, let's get into it. Annie, when you think about people who are genuinely kind, what is it about them that actually changes the way you see them?
Okay, so I think the thing about kindness is that it changes the whole feeling of being around someone. You stop noticing what they look like because you're too busy noticing how they make you feel.
Yes, and I think that's the key difference. Beauty is visual. It works on your eyes. But kindness works on something else. It works on your sense of safety, your comfort, your trust.
Exactly. And those things are actually more powerful than visual attraction in the long run.
Because, think about it. You can admire a beautiful face for about 30 seconds before you need something more to keep your attention.
30 seconds is generous.
Fair. But the point is, beauty holds attention. Kindness builds it.
Yes. That's a good way to say it. And I think part of why kindness is so powerful is because it's rare. Like actually rare. Not just being polite. Not holding the door open because it's expected. I mean real, noticing you kindness.
The kind where someone sees you're struggling before you've said anything.
Or when they remember something small you mentioned weeks ago and then bring it up at exactly the right moment.
Yes? Because that kind of thing says, I was listening. I was paying attention. You mattered enough for me to remember.
And that is almost shockingly powerful. Most people do not feel seen that often.
Right? So when someone makes you feel seen, it changes how you see them almost immediately. They become more interesting, more warm, more attractive in the fullest sense of the word.
And this is where the phrase warm someone up to you becomes really useful. If you warm someone up to you, you gradually make them feel comfortable and positive towards you.
So it's not instant. It builds. For example, her kindness slowly warmed everyone up to her. Or, he has this quiet way of warming people up to him without even trying.
And that to me is what kindness does. It's not a dramatic first impression. It warms.
Which is different from beauty, which can be a dramatic first impression. But then it needs something underneath to keep going.
Yes, beauty can open the door, but kindness is often what makes you want to stay inside.
And stay and come back and bring other people.
Exactly.
Okay, but let me push back a little. Because I think there's a version of kindness that does not actually work. And I think a lot of people confuse it with real kindness.
Okay, I'm listening.
There's a kind of kindness that comes across as too eager, too accommodating, where someone agrees with everything you say, does everything you ask, never pushes back at all. And instead of feeling warm and safe, it actually feels uncomfortable.
Yes, it can feel unbalanced, almost like you're not dealing with a real person.
Right? And this is where the phrase come across as becomes useful. If you come across as something, you give that impression, you seem that way to other people.
For example, she comes across as warm and genuine, or he tries hard, but sometimes comes across as a little too eager to please.
And that eagerness, when it's too much, can actually push people away. Because real kindness has a certain calm to it. It doesn't need anything in return.
Yes, the most kind people I know are not performing kindness. They're just kind. It's not about getting credit. It's not transactional.
Exactly. There's no invisible invoice attached.
No invisible invoice. I love that.
So what does real kindness actually look like? Because I think we throw the word around a lot, without being specific.
Yes, good. Let's be specific. I think real kindness starts with attention, actually paying attention to the person in front of you.
Not waiting for your turn to speak. Actually listening.
Right? And responding to what they actually said, not what you assumed they said.
That one is huge, because so many conversations are people just waiting to say their next thing.
And when someone really listens, you feel it. You feel the difference immediately.
There's also something about tone. Not just what someone says, but how they say it. Whether they seem genuinely happy to be talking to you, or whether you're just another item on their schedule.
Yes, and this is where the phrase have a way with comes in. If someone has a way with people, they have a natural talent for connecting with them, for making them feel at ease.
For example, she has a way with strangers. They always seem to relax around her. Or he has a real way with nervous people. He just knows how to help them feel okay.
And people who have a way with others are almost always people who are genuinely curious. They actually want to know what you think, what you've been through, what matters to you.
And that curiosity is so attractive, because it says, you are interesting. Not out of politeness, but out of actual interest.
Which almost no one feels enough of.
Exactly. Most people walk away from conversations feeling like they talk too much or not enough or said the wrong thing. But when you talk to someone who has a real way with people, you walk away feeling good. Like you said exactly what you meant, and they understood it.
And that feeling is what people chase, more than beauty, more than status. That feeling of being understood.
Yes. And then there's one more thing I want to mention, which I think is slightly more complicated. And that's the idea of wearing your heart on your sleeve.
Okay, so if you wear your heart on your sleeve, you show your feelings openly. You don't hide what you're feeling. People can read you pretty easily.
For example, she wears her heart on her sleeve, which is why people trust her so quickly. Or, he's not great at hiding emotions. He kind of wears his heart on his sleeve.
And this connects to kindness because I think the kindest people tend to be more open in this way. They're not performing a character. What you see is what you get.
And that authenticity is incredibly attractive. Because in a world where most people are performing some version of themselves, meeting someone who is just real is almost shocking.
Yes, it disarms you completely.
And I think that's the deepest version of kindness. Not just being nice, but being genuinely present, genuinely real, genuinely interested, all at the same time.
Which is actually quite hard, because most of us have layers of self-protection that we carry around.
We do. And kindness, real kindness, is the thing that slowly makes you want to put those down.
Okay, I want to share something personal. And Jake, you cannot laugh.
I make no promises.
When I was about 22, I had this co-worker, and she was not the most beautiful person in the office, not in the obvious way. But she had this thing where she genuinely remembered everyone's details. Not just names, details.
What kind of details?
She remembered my sister had a big exam. She remembered one of the guys had a dentist appointment he was nervous about. She'd ask about it the next day like it was the most natural thing.
That is genuinely rare.
And after about a month of working with her, everyone was a little bit in love with her, not romantically necessarily, but in the sense that everyone wanted to be around her. Everyone trusted her. Everyone lit up a little when she walked in.
Because she made everyone feel seen.
Exactly, and she was not trying. That is the thing. It was just how she moved through the world.
That is such a good example because it shows exactly what we've been talking about. The warmth wasn't a strategy. It was just her.
Right, and now you.
Okay. So mine is a little different. I want to talk about a moment where I saw the absence of kindness change everything.
Oh, interesting. Go on.
So, a few years ago, I was at this small event, and there was this guy who was objectively very good-looking, the kind of person where you notice him immediately. Confident, well-dressed, easy energy at first.
I feel like I know where this is going.
Yeah. So, within about 15 minutes, I watched him be dismissive to a waiter. Nothing dramatic. Just, barely acknowledged the person. Didn't say thank you. Waved his hand in that way.
That wave?
That wave. And the whole thing just shifted. The attractiveness I'd noticed in the first moment completely changed shape.
Because the way someone treats people who can do nothing for them tells you everything.
Everything. And in that moment, he went from interesting to someone I didn't want to talk to at all.
Yes, because kindness, or the lack of it, is one of the fastest ways to understand who someone actually is underneath everything else.
Exactly. You can style your hair perfectly, you can say all the right things, but the moment a stranger needs something from you, that's the moment you find out what someone is made of.
And most people are watching, even if they don't say anything.
Always. Okay, let's slow down and go through the key phrases from today. Annie, do you want to start?
Yes. First phrase, leave a mark. If something leaves a mark, it has a lasting effect. It stays with you even after the moment is over.
For example, that small gesture she made really left a mark. Or, the way he treated people left a mark on everyone around him.
Repeat, leave a mark.
Leave a mark. Next, warm someone up to you. If you warm someone up to you, you gradually make them feel comfortable and positive toward you.
For example, her quiet kindness slowly warmed people up to her. Or it took time, but he eventually warmed everyone up to him.
Repeat, warm someone up to you.
Warm someone up to you. Next, come across as. If you come across as something, you give that impression to other people.
For example, she comes across as very genuine. Or, sometimes being too eager can make you come across as insecure.
Repeat, come across as.
Come across as. Next, have a way with. If you have a way with people, you have a natural talent for connecting with them and making them feel at ease.
For example, he has a real way with nervous people. Or, she has a way with children that I've never seen before.
Repeat. Have a way with.
Have a way with. And finally, wear your heart on your sleeve. If you wear your heart on your sleeve, you show your feelings openly without hiding them.
For example, she wears her heart on her sleeve and people trust her for it. Or, he's never been good at hiding things. He completely wears his heart on his sleeve.
Repeat, wear your heart on your sleeve.
Wear your heart on your sleeve. And that was our vocabulary for today.
By the end of this episode, you should be able to use all 5 of these phrases in a real conversation. They all come up naturally when talking about people, relationships, first impressions, or character.
And the more you use them, the more natural they become. So try one today, even just in your head.
All right. So where does that leave us?
I think it leaves us here. Beauty might catch your eye in the first moment, but kindness is often what makes you want to stay.
And kindness, real kindness, leaves a mark in a way that a beautiful face rarely can.
So if you're someone who is working on how you show up in the world, being more genuinely kind is genuinely one of the best things you can do.
For other people and honestly for yourself too.
Right? Okay, that's us for today. If this episode left a mark on you, tell us in the comments.
And subscribe so you don't miss the next one.
Take care of your English.
And take care of each other.
This is Jake.
And this is Annie. You've been listening to English Out Loud. See you next time.